This is ABC 7 News at 5. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Haley Wilkes has the evening off. Thanks for being with us. First tonight, some breaking news. Chaos at Europe's third largest airport. At least 10 people are dead and dozens more injured after two suicide bombings at an airport in Istanbul, Turkey. A Turkish official says two suspects blew themselves up in the international terminal. Police reportedly fired shots at the men in an effort to neutralize them. Entry and exit to the airport has been stopped. First responders have sent the wounded to hospitals. A U.S. State Department travel warning has been issued, urging U.S. citizens to exercise heightened vigilance and caution. Turkey has suffered several bombings in recent months linked to Kurdish or Islamic State group militants. Back here in the Suncoast, Sarasota County Sheriff's deputies are now heading into their 6th hour of a standoff with an armed man. Right now, deputies have surrounded a home on Silk Oak Drive in Sarasota and are trying to take the suspect into custody. That's just off Weber Street, west of Honore Avenue. ABC 7's Ray Collins joins us now live from the scene with more. Ray?
Scott, deputies attempted to serve a warrant to a suspect in a house about 2 blocks behind me this morning at 11:32 a.m. A female came out of the house and said he does not want to go back to jail and he is armed. Deputies briefly made contact with him. They said he was uncooperative. Apparently, he's got a track record of drug convictions of a significant level. He refused to leave the house. The SWAT team was called in. There has been no contact with the man inside the house now for several hours. This began again at 11:32 a.m. Deputies have not evacuated nearby homes, they say. So right now, he is barricaded inside the home by himself. It's an armed standoff here off Weber, just near McIntosh. We'll keep next hour, we'll talk to residents who are very concerned about what's going on in their otherwise usually peaceful neighborhood. Scott, back to you.
All right, Ray Collins there. Sorry for that technical issue with the audio there. In other news, the Sarasota Police Department is cracking down on human trafficking. Officers with the Street Crimes Unit are handing out letters to many hotels along North Tamiami Trail with the hopes of getting their help. ABC 7's Rick Adams joins us live from the North Trail with more on the story. Rick?
Yes, Scott, officers visited 20 motels here on the North Trail. They're hoping these motels join forces with them in the fight against prostitution.
It's a problem that has been around for many decades in Sarasota. Human trafficking and prostitution are a common sight on the North Trail. Police say the many hotels and motels can be a big help in resolving the problem.
We have information that some of the hotels are involved in criminal activity where they may be letting prostitutes inside of the room, renting to locals by the hour.
Members of the Sarasota Police Department Street Crimes Unit spent their Tuesday morning distributing letters to nearly 24 hotels and motels on Tamiami Trail and University Parkway. The letter is asking for these lodging places to be on board with them to tackle this enormous problem of sex trafficking.
A lot of them are not calling, they're not reporting crime. You know, when we see open-air prostitution, you know, they're going to certain hotels.
Police are hoping these motels on the North Trail are hearing the message loud and clear from this letter. They want these businesses to be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
John Baugh is someone who is pushing hard to clean up the area. He is impressed with the work the police have done so far in taking on this human trafficking issue, but he believes there is still a ways to go.
There's many tools in the toolbox now, and they're all being used. And is there one answer? No, there's not one answer usually for any problem, but we're making progress, but we have to keep going.
And officers tell us they will continue to fight this problem aggressively. They plan on meeting with these hotels and motels once again very soon. Reporting live this evening from Sarasota, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
All right, Rick, thank you. New details tonight about an animal abuse case in Manatee County. Court documents reveal 45 dogs were seized from 3 separate homes under suspicion that they were bred for fighting. The documents show search warrants were issued on June 14th at 2 homes in Bradenton and another in Palmetto. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies found 23 pit bulls at the home on 15th Street East, along with remains of several deceased dogs. At the home on 26th Avenue East, 19 dogs were removed, and at the home on 61st Street East, 3 dogs were seized. And a number of those dogs seized were malnourished with injuries, scars, and even tumors. Deputies say many had injuries consistent with dog fighting. Manatee County Animal Services is now overwhelmed and over capacity, trying to care for the majority of these seized dogs. The shelter in Palmetto is now caring for 184 dogs in total. Its normal capacity, somewhere around 80. Other agencies, including the Humane Societies of Manatee and Sarasota counties, are already coming in to help.
We're utilizing every available space that we have, including our conference rooms and hallways. But we want to make sure these animals' lives have some enrichment while they're here, in the meantime. So that's where volunteers can really help with both walking the animals or simply just spending some time with them.
As the Manatee County Sheriff's Office continues its investigation, animal services workers are encouraging those who would like to adopt to contact them at their shelter in Palmetto. 2 more departments in Manatee County are asking commissioners to consider staffing concerns in the upcoming budget. Public Safety says more lifeguards, EMTs, and 911 call center employees are needed to keep up with a growing population in Manatee County. Public Works submitted its list with nearly 30 positions currently unfunded. The county says these salaries can only be funded through property tax revenue, which already serves a broad range of needs and services. One county commissioner says the proposed half-cent sales tax would help alleviate the pressure on that general fund.
This half-cent sales tax, if it happens, and the voters will decide, would help immensely because it would free up our general budget. Manatee County relies almost entirely on property taxes.
We gained 3 positions back last year, and our hopes is to try to fill those other 3 positions or try to get those back on our roster in the future.
Public hearings for the budget start in September. Residents will vote on the half-cent sales tax 2 months later in November. Well, we're now just days away from the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix. Speedboats and drivers from around the country will be here on the Suncoast racing for big prizes. ABC 7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan joins us now live from the kickoff party in Sarasota. Bob?
Yeah, Sarasota Yacht Club right here, Scott. The big kickoff party begins at 6 o'clock tonight. A lot of people will be here, some of the drivers and the race fans and some of the promoters as well. They had the golf tournament on Saturday. I was a part of that. Tomorrow, the big fishing tournament starts at around 8:30 tomorrow at City Island. I'll be on that as well. And then, obviously, the race is taking place all throughout the weekend. I know our photographer, Dave's going to be parking himself right there at Lido and watching those races all weekend long. It's always a lot of fun for him. Titan radar picture showing showers and storms around earlier today. Those have moved inland, pushing off to the east. All that activity now winding on down right now. There could be some redevelopment near the coast late tonight, but again, up to 3 inches of rain fell near Northport, just to the west of Northport, and just in between Venice and Warm and Mineral Springs. But right now, things have calmed down there considerably. We'll have much more in our forecast, obviously, coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Okay, Bob, thank you. The Northport City Commission is once again trying to bring a hospital to the city. The commission voting unanimously today to create a task force to look into building that hospital. The committee will consist of doctors, surgeons, and administrators, but no date has been set on when they'll meet yet. Earlier this year, city officials worked with an outside consultant to put together an application to the state's Agency for Healthcare Administration. But after speaking to 8 different hospital groups, all declined to work with the city to build a hospital. For the first time since the bombshell Brexit vote in Great Britain, some good news on Wall Street. Investors regaining some confidence after British voters decided last Thursday to leave the European Union. The stock market had tumbled nearly 5.5% Friday and Monday, with the average retirement account shedding nearly $5,000. Overseas, the British Prime Minister met with his European counterparts today, starting the process of Britain's exit from the EU. ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern joins us now with more on how the stock market did today. And happy days are here again, Richard, at least for today. We'll take it, right?
Scott, you're exactly right. The market was up all day long. As we said yesterday, markets don't go only in one direction forever, and the sellers dried up. We saw buying all day. All 3 indices that we follow, believe it or not, closed at the highest levels or had the strongest days that we've seen in 4 months. Some of that has to do with as we call it, a flight to quality. Believe it or not, a U.S. Treasury 10-year now trades at just barely 1.5%. A lot of that, of course, fuels purchase of stocks where the dividends are higher than the yield on bonds. And therefore, a darn good day. Let's take a look at the figures, and we closed at the high of the day. There you see a gain of almost 270 points, more than 1.5%, closing at 17,409.72 on very heavy volume of 988 million shares. The NASDAQ, the clear winner today, up more than 2.1%, more than 97 points, closing at 4,691.87. That on volume of 1,965 million shares. And the S&P very strong as well, up almost 1.8%, more than 35 points at 2,036.09. Well, lest you think that only McDonald's is now serving all-day breakfast, how about Tony the Tiger and his friends at Kellogg? Believe it or not, Kellogg is opening its first ever restaurant in Times Square in New York City. It's going to open July 1st, just a couple of days from now. All of the things on the menu will sell from anywhere between $6 and $8. Raisin Bran, Special K, Fruit Loops, but not just the cereals with toppings. How about a Honey Buzz? Yes, a Honey Buzz is honey snack cereal with toasted pecans and banana chips. So we'll see how that goes, but Kellogg honestly believes it will do very well. They say that people really do eat cereal all day. They even eat it at night as a snack. So we'll see how they do, but they're awfully excited about opening on Times Square this weekend, and certainly things are going to be crazy in Times Square this weekend anyway, so we'll see how they get started.
Absolutely. It's an interesting concept, that's for sure. I haven't heard that before.
Yes.
And you have some news on Johnson & Johnson as well, Richard.
Yes, Scott. They've only been in business since 1886, 130 years. Today, the stock closed at an all-time high. A pretty darn good turnaround for them as well.
Wow. Well, we hope we have more days like today. Richard, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, Zika-related microcephaly reported in Florida for the first time. The circumstances surrounding the case and what the governor is doing to stop the virus. And ABC 7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with us with the full weather forecast from the Sarasota Yacht Club. And a reunion on the Suncoast, 1 year in the making. A soldier returns from overseas to pick up her dog.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
It's summer blockbuster season at the movies. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, our film critic joins us to rate the top new summer releases. Work can definitely stress us out, so we'll learn some workplace-appropriate yoga stretches that you can do at your desk. We're celebrating Shark Week, and Chef Judy has the best fish sandwiches right here on the Suncoast.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Hurricane season is here, so when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC 7.
We bring you storm warnings faster and with more detail than ever before.
And track storms right down to your neighborhood.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Turn to the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
You know what scares me? No electricity. Yeah, when this magical box suddenly stops working, I call the pros at Mr. Sparky and they send a superhero to save the day. How's it going, Pablo?
It's going great, Mike.
Pablo possesses amazing skill. He can perform incredible feats at blinding speed. Superhero!
Couldn't have done it without you.
Modest, too.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Just to be clear, I don't live here.
This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Florida Leather Gallery.
Money raised during the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival allows Suncoast Charities for Children to provide annual grants to the Suncoast Foundation. Since the festival began, more than $20 million in facilities have been built by the Suncoast Foundation across the area, benefiting Community Haven, Children First, Sarasota County Special Olympics, and the Florida Center for Early Childhood.
Florida Leather Gallery is celebrating the 4th of July with spectacular savings. Take 33% off hundreds of styles. Experience freedom of choice with a wide and wonderful assortment of leathers. Freedom from worry with our impressive collection of protected leathers. And freedom from guilt as we proudly offer the lowest price guaranteed. Plus, free delivery. It's all happening right now. Come celebrate with our Lexperts at our 6 Florida Leather Galleries.
A bittersweet reunion today at Dante's Den in Mayaca City. Samantha Wall just returned from her first deployment with the U.S. Army. She spent the last year overseas while her dog, Dozer, was cared for by the staff of Dante's Den. ABC 7's Samantha Chido was there for today's special reunion.
Big boy! Big boy! Hi, Bubba! Hi, big boy! Oh my gosh, I missed you.
It's a bittersweet moment. Dozer was our first Semper Paw dog that came to Dante's Den, and he's in our hearts. He's absolutely in our hearts. And I say it's bittersweet because we love him. We love him so much. And he's going home. He's going home to the woman who entrusted us with his safety and his well-being for a year. And she did a super service for us going over to Africa and protecting our country. And it was our honor to protect her dog while she was gone. I missed you. I missed you.
It's a transition for him just like it is for me because he's going to be in a new place, and as am I, so we're going to do it together. I didn't get to take him to the beach when he liked the water, but now that he's been here in the pool, I'm hoping he'll enjoy going to the beach with his sister, and we'll see how he does.
Definitely bittersweet because we come in, we're here with him every day, so he's like one of our dogs. We technically spend more time with these dogs than we do with our dogs at home, but extremely happy he gets to go home.
It's been a blessing. If it wasn't for this place, I would have had to get rid of him, and there was no way that I wanted to do that.
That's so neat. Hope they're having fun tonight. Well, over the next couple of days, some of the fastest boats will be heading to the Suncoast to take part in the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival. ABC 7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan joins us live from the big kickoff party at the Sarasota Yacht Club tonight. Hi, Bob.
Yes, we are here a beautiful afternoon. Most of the activity, Scott, well inland at the Sarasota Yacht Club for the big kickoff party for the festivities that are going to be taking place for the rest of this week with the fishing tournament tomorrow morning. Looks to be okay for that as well. Get a look at the Casey Key webcam time lapse of what's been going on through the day today. We've had a lot of sunshine and a few storms earlier near the coast. Those have since moved on for the most part. There's another little line trying to develop, though, west of I-75. I can see that quite clearly with our shot in that direction. But you can see some of the blow-off from the tops of those storms that were around earlier, which produced up to 3 inches of rainfall estimates by the Doppler radar site. You can see that right around 2 o'clock, the big rain, and then it moved on. Then well east into Highlands County and also into Polk County right now. Those storms were big at one point. I think we'll see more of that kind of action late morning, early afternoon, right near the coast, and then inland storms throughout the late afternoon and evening. That'll be the trend, I think. Just as we're seeing now near Sebring and Lake Placid, there's that bullseye of heavy rainfall right there just to the northwest of Northport along I-75, and lesser amounts as you push northward. Not much near the area beaches. It stayed quiet out there today. Tarpon Point, 1.3 inches of rainfall, and the water vapor imagery looking like this. Some drier air, some slightly drier air has moved into the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, not so much the surface. It still feels like 96 degrees right now. Boy, it cooled 1 degree in the last hour. It's 89, and the humidity at 57%. We have a west wind at 9, the pressure 2997, and that is falling slightly at this hour. Temperature 88 in Jacksonville, 91 though into Avon Park. 10 degrees cooler in Mayaca City with a shower that was around earlier, cooling things down there. 86 at Venice Gardens and 87 in Bradenton. Here's the forecast model. You can see those storms kind of gathering the interior portion of the peninsula and then spreading back toward the west. So there's still a chance to see some coastal showers. I see this one lone shower trying to build, looks like just to the west of I-75 near Bee Ridge and Fruitville. Well, the RPM forecast model again showing some coastal showers possible tomorrow, but then the main thrust will be inland in the afternoon. Similar conditions on Thursday. The reason why is there's a trough of low pressure and a weak cold front that will be hanging up to the north of us. Whenever that happens, it kind of bumps everything down south, and we start to see this west to southwesterly wind component. Good news on the tropical front, there's not a lot going on. We don't see much out there. There's an upper level low spinning across the Turks and Caicos there on the center right of your screen, but that is about it. and it looks as though the national weather front showing that system all the way from Texas, stretching through Carolina and up into New York and Pennsylvania right now. That frontal system actually cooling things down considerably. Get a look at the temperatures now. 68 in Toronto. Boy, it'd be nice to be there. 72 in Minneapolis and 74 in Cleveland right now. As far as the boating forecast is concerned, we are looking for a nice day for the boaters. In fact, winds will be pretty light out there. They'll be out of the south, turning to the west, 5 to 10 knots with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. And as far as the 7-day forecast goes, we'll see a little bit better chance for storms. Again, beginning on Friday and continuing through the holiday weekend into the 4th of July. Now, remember, we're going to see the timing of the storms a little different. Late morning, early afternoon near the coast, that's always a concern. And a lot of people will be out during that time of day. And a little bit different timing has people and sometimes can catch people by surprise. So keep that in mind. Scott, back to you.
All right, we will. Thank you so much, Bob. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. We're seeing traffic backed up still on I-75. This is the northbound lanes, and it starts from about the Clark Road exit and heads north to the Fruitville Road area. There was an accident there earlier, so it's still slow going as you head north on the interstate in Sarasota. In health news tonight, Florida health officials confirmed the first Zika-related case of microcephaly in a child born in Florida. The Florida Department of Health releasing a statement today saying the child's mother contracted the virus outside the U.S. Officials say the mother is a citizen of Haiti who came to Florida to give birth. Governor Rick Scott is asking federal health experts to talk with Florida medical professionals about what precautions pregnant women should take. Last week, Scott used his emergency powers to authorize spending up to $26.2 million to try and stop Zika's spread. Well, is stress causing you to go gray? We'll check out what happens to presidents over their time in office. Hair gets its hue from melanin. You start to lose melanin as you get older, according to the American Academy of Dermatology. And while stress has been known to trigger hair loss, there's little research showing that it can actually turn your hair gray. Researchers say there's some evidence local expression of stress hormones mediate the signals instructing cells to deliver melanin, so in that way, stress could be a factor. But genetic makeup is the main cause of going gray. Coming up, from orbiting the Earth to having an entire airport named after him. How one state is showing its appreciation for a former astronaut. And tennis fans are traveling from all over the world to visit a cornfield. Why this court is so very special. The story next.
Hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? ABC7 has the information you need. Access our special Surviving a Hurricane now. Learn how to prepare a readiness plan and survival kit. Know your evacuation route. Be prepared, Suncoast, when severe weather threatens. Access our special on our ABC7 app and all our live streaming platforms.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV.
Discover the biggest savings of the year on some of America's favorite vehicles during the Drive and Discover event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Get four-wheeler magazines 4x4 of the decade, a new Jeep Wrangler as low as $25,999, or drive away in a new Jeep Cherokee for just $19,999. Get a new 2016 Jeep Patriot for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
The ability to go to college on a Bright Future Scholarship gave me personally the flexibility to chase a dream. To not have to worry about paying for your college education was absolutely amazing. One step better than that was to leave with no loans. I mean, to start a life, to start a job, to start without having a debt was amazing, and it allowed me to get to where I'm at today.
We've been slow smoking over oak for more than 45 years. And while sticking to tried and true traditions is kind of our thing, it doesn't hurt to throw something new in the smoker every now and then. Come get some slow smoked chicken wings at Sonny's Barbecue. Order them as an appetizer or as part of a combo with pork, baby back ribs, or both, starting at $10.99. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Sarasota Ford.
The Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix originated in 1985 by a group of local businessmen, among them the race's brainchild, the late Gene Whipp. What began as an annual picnic at the beach for children with special needs has expanded into a 10-day festival, raising $100,000 a year for Suncoast Charities for Children and generating an economic impact of $32 million for the area.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, because Sarasota Ford guarantees you our lowest price on every new Ford every day. Save on America's best-selling truck, 39 years running, the Ford F-150, Fusions, Escapes, over 800 vehicles on-site or online, all on sale. Buy with 0% for 60 months. And now, get up to $2,000 trade assistance. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Two freight trains in the Texas Panhandle erupted into flames following a head-on collision. The impact caused several boxcars to derail this morning. Thick black smoke billowed from the tracks. Responders still assessing the damage there. There are reports of multiple injuries and emergency personnel searching for 3 crew members. Those who live nearby had to be evacuated, and they were asked to cut back on water use because the water supply was depleted by firefighters there at the scene.
3, 2, 1, fire.
And we have ignition of NASA's Space Launch System solid rocket motor powering us on our journey to Mars.
Test for the most powerful rocket in the world. NASA conducted its second and final qualification test on Space Launch System's booster. It'll be used to send off Space Launch System's first uncrewed test flight with NASA's Orion spacecraft to Mars. Boosters provide more than 75% of the thrust needed to fly into space. The rocket launch to Mars is expected to happen in late 2018. Speaking of space, the first American to orbit the Earth now has an airport named after him. Port Columbus International Airport in his native Ohio is now the John Glenn Columbus International Airport. It's named in honor of the astronaut and former Senator John Glenn, who orbited the Earth back in 1962. He was a member of NASA's Mercury 7 astronauts who led the U.S. into space. He also returned to space aboard the shuttle Discovery and then became the oldest person to fly in space. Tennis fans are traveling from all over to catch a glimpse of Wimbledon. But this one is not in the UK. It's an Iowa cornfield. A farmer has recreated Wimbledon in his front yard. The full-size replica of the All England Club has its own irrigation and gets a fresh cut every morning. Word of the copycat court has spread to tennis players from all over, urging them to travel to corn country for a chance to play in the farm league. That's pretty cool. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a pilot program at Warm Mineral Springs. If enough people are taking advantage of the extended hours this summer, we'll have that story just ahead.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease a new Civic for $169. A well-equipped Civic, just $169. Now at GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda, Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Music on Main at Lakewood Ranch. If you haven't been, come on out and see what you've been missing. The first Friday of every month, you can enjoy a free concert, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Catch up with friends, enjoy free activities for the kids, or make it date night. Whatever your pleasure, there's something for everyone at Music on Main, the first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by these sponsors at ABC7.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, it's all about getting more for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. Stop by to see our new state-of-the-art showroom today, and you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet, a new 2016 Subaru Forester, for just $229 a month. Complimentary maintenance included at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Florida Leather Gallery.
Money raised during the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival allows Suncoast Charities for Children to provide annual grants to the Suncoast Foundation. Since the festival began, more than $20 million in facilities have been built by the Suncoast Foundation across the area, benefiting Community Haven, Children First, Sarasota County Special Olympics, and the Florida Center for Early Childhood.
Florida Leather Gallery is celebrating the 4th of July with spectacular savings. Take 33% off hundreds of styles. Experience freedom of choice with a wide and wonderful assortment of leathers. Freedom from worry with our impressive collection of protected leathers. And freedom from guilt as we proudly offer the lowest price guaranteed. Plus, free delivery. It's all happening right now. Come celebrate with our Lexperts at our 6 Florida Leather Galleries.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease the new Accord for $189, just $189 or 0.9% APR. Now at GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.